Wes, there's those pearly whites, buddy. Look at them things.
I know, right? It's
I,
almost like I brushed them or something for you.
it almost, I mentioned this yesterday. We were doing a recording one, but I really appreciate that you use what is it, Just for Men or whatever that stuff is, because when you let it go all gray, I can't see your teeth, so I don't know if you're smiling or not.
That's right. My
Just
Just for Men jet black.
It's very disconcerting. I'm looking at the guy smiling or not.
What's disconcerting to me is the fact that my wife buys something that's got who is it, Tyson Bedford on the box. I'm like, you trying to like give me a hint that I'm not getting the cheese, or what's going on here?
Oh, it's amazing. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, it's great to be back with you, brother. We're back to the infamous Building Wins Live. What do we call it? See, rack and stack, I think is what we've been calling them lately.
The old rack and stack. And today it's a three for the old turkey.
It is the old turkey, and it's really cool. And man, we're starting out the first one here with a guy that I've got to know, Jared Ledford, and the dude's one of us. You know, he's a podcaster he has the host along with his partner, Steel King Podcast, which is a great podcast, and I think he's really dipping to the bottom of the barrel and lowered the bar, and actually going to have you and I on someday. So that's probably not saying much about his podcast, but what we love to share audiences, and we love to share back and forth, and it's good stuff. But he's also very involved in the portable building, the steel building, the post frame building world, along with his partners in Dayton, Ohio area. And so that's my world, right? That's where I live. Breathe.
Yeah, and they're my neighbors, 50 miles south. So
they are, awesome. Which means that when I come down to see you, we could end up with Eric and Jared with a Dr. Pepper together.
I may do that, but behind the scenes, you were trying to get us to fight. So I don't know if I want to meet him up.
He's a pretty big guy, and he's a little younger than you. So I'm just saying, I love you, brother, but I might put my money on him. I don't know. You cheat though. So I mean, that's true. So,
and I cry if you hit me. So I'll make you feel real bad.
Oh man! All right, let's. As entertaining as we find each other, we should probably go get Jared, which is probably way more entertaining than you and I.
Let's go get him.
All right, let's do it. All right. Hey, brother, what's up?
What's going on, Randy? How are you today, my friend?
Oh, man. You know what? It'd be tough to be any better. I say it all the time, and I pinch myself at times that mantra that I use a lot is love what I do and do what I love. And
yeah.
I like it because it sounds good. But the truth is, Jared, it's the truth. I mean, I punch a wall here and there and hit my steering wheel, almost blow up the airbag in my face when things don't go right. But, we all have that. But
that's right.
I just love what I do. I love the industry. I love the podcasting. I just love what we do. And you're like a kindred spirit. And it's great. Yeah. We've met in person 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, you've been right where I'm sitting. So I'm sitting
right there,
in the office,
right in front of you.
I'm sitting in the office. This is the podcast spot now. I've got the reticulating arm and the mic and the booms and the camera. The whole thing. So, but you've been here. I mean, we've known each other now for a while, and we've been trying to set this up for a while, and we just couldn't get it done. But here we are.
And we are. It's like karma or something. It's
right.
good stuff.
That's right.
Well, and we were together not too long ago in Dayton, Ohio, at the construction roll forming show too. So actually side by side for a while, and whenever I wandered over that way, because I have a tendency to. I said something once with one of my manufacturers. They said, "You be at the show," and I says, "Well, yeah," and he says, not that we'll ever see you because you're never in a booth. It says, I go trolling. What do you expect? I troll for business. If I don't set in the lake where they're not fishing or the fish aren't biting the weight, right?
That's right.
I go trolling.
That's right.
So
I was buttoned up at the roll forming show. I was shocked at how many people kind of knew who we were. And I mean, we were right next to each other because you were at the end of the shield wall booth, kind of as a post up, right? But you did your fair share of mingling and stuff. But I'll tell you, we were popular guys. You and I mean, we were pretty well received. So I appreciated that.
Well, Jared, I mean, come on, we're on video. Take a look at us. I mean, come on.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We are two fine specimens. I can
fine.
Right
we are fine.
We are fine specimens.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We are. here we
Yes.
are.
So, well, great to have you on, my man. And so
Man.
introduce yourself because you'll do it better than I. Who you
Yeah.
are, talk about your partner, the businesses that you do,
Yeah.
and let's just kind of riff into this thing a little bit here.
Yeah, man. My name is Jared Ledford, and I wear many hats, but most of the time I am the owner operator of Dayton Barnes and All Steel Buildings with my co-owner and partner in crime, Eric Olson. Eric started this business about 6 years ago or so, and we have, got to a point now where we are building this out to be a national sales company for metal buildings all over the United States. We have a sales team here located in Urbana, Ohio, and we are moving that business forward. Started the podcast, so we also do the Steel Kings podcast, which is we partner with Shannon Latham over at Shed Geek to take care of that part of it. We just want to be industry centered. We want to be talking metal buildings, sheds, pole barns all the time. But the Steel Kings podcast came about earlier this year, and we've been super happy and blessed to get a platform to talk to people about wood sheds and metal buildings, which is what we love anyways. And then we also last year started a Five Rivers Pole Barns. And Five Rivers Pole Barns has turned into the future business for Eric and I. We got a partner there by the name of Caleb Grimes, who owns a construction company and also does the construction on the buildings and the concrete and all of that. But Five Rivers Pole Barns has gotten to be really interesting because now, as we've graduated, right, we started in wood sheds, we graduated to metal buildings, and that's a big jump in itself. But when you start to get into construction management and project management from the sales funnel all the way to the final walkthrough, that's where we're at with Five Rivers Pole Barns. We want to be a luxury barn builder. We've got good partners in Graber Post. We love those guys over there. And we're just getting off to the racetracks, man. I don't know where next year is going to take us, but we've got our hands kind of all over the place. We want to do everything related to post frame, metal buildings, and wood sheds.
I love it. I love it. And having been in your office and spent some time with you and watching what you do and your virtual presence on the internet, you guys are speaking my language because you know well that I'm a big believer in visibility equals opportunity, right? And I just think the way you guys do that and present yourselves, as a matter of fact, I had a post or a post drop this morning. I'm a roofing coffee shop and a metal coffee shop influencer, and we do once a month little interviews. And it's just timing is great because the article that they dropped that I did with them a while back, or wrote for them, I should say, this is a blog, talked about if you put up a nice metal roof and then you just walk away, you're leaving dollars on the table, right? Because you need to promote what you're doing. That roof's worth 5 other roofs at least.
That's right.
Shooting a video, getting the homeowners there smiling and looking up, gazing lovingly at their new beautiful roof, right? And you make it there. Instead, so many builders, whether it's roofers or builders, post frame, metal, steel, it doesn't matter. They finish up, they get the 5, here's the keys to your watch, or they leave, right? And that's fine if you don't want to grow. And if you don't want to grow organically and you don't want to grow by not always constantly looking for that next lead, let the next lead come to you via a very, raving fan customer, right? Does that make any sense? Or did I just made all that up? That was pretty good, right?
No, I think that was really good, man. I mean, that hits a lot of points. So, I mean, it kind of ties into the way that we've tailored our businesses, right? So again, Dayton Barnes and All Steel Buildings started selling wood sheds in Huber Heights, one location. We graduated a little bit, learned a little bit about metal, then really started to dabble into it. We kind of mastered the wood shed game and moved on to metal buildings. And then from there, Eric and I and a group of contractors kind of built this business into a sustainable money source, right? Mm-hmm. So that's by sourcing with the right manufacturers, working with the right partners. And I think really what it comes down to is being in a position to actually scale a business by adding employees. I'm big on, my staff's W-2. They're in the shop every day. They work with me here one-to-one. We can broker buildings almost anywhere right now in the United States metal wise. We do a really good job with the tube steel stuff. And then post frame came about because we started to broker deals where customers would come to the table and they'd say, not really feeling a tube steel building. Where I'm at, we've got to have a wood frame. We've got to do these certain things. And so we started brokering out some pole barns here and there. And it just got to the point where, well, why don't we just start doing this? Why don't we look for the right partners? And because we had a good reputation, because we had Caleb specifically, Caleb Grimes came to the table. We had been giving him concrete pads like going away just here in the Dayton market, kind of draw a 50-mile bubble around where I'm sitting in Urbana, and that's where Caleb serviced. But from there, I mean, we just started sourcing our own subs and really looking at, can we take post frame to the next level? And it really comes down to, like you said, can you brand yourself in a way that a customer is going to say, you know what, I didn't just buy a pole barn, I bought my pole barn from Five Rivers Pole Barns, or I bought my metal building from Dayton Barns and All Steel Buildings, and I bought it from Jared or a member of his team. And to me, I tell my guys and gals all the time, they're going to buy the building from you. It's your job to be the face of this company when you're selling the product. That way they'll come back and they'll tell their friends, hey, I bought from Gracie or Bryce or Thad or Landon or Michelle or Chris, whoever the person is. You want them to own that process with you and be in it every step of the way. And that's what we do a little bit different. I mean, tube steel is a racket, man. It's really tough. Getting into the tube steel industry is super easy. Anybody can become a metal building dealer tomorrow if they really wanted to. But it's really those companies like us, and you know, not to pat myself on the back, but we have a really smooth process. We follow it from start to finish. And the Steel Kings podcast, to kind of tie it all together, we're trying to get the industry to rise to that level. We're willing to share expertise, knowledge, manufacturers, whatever it is. There are plenty of buildings to sell. We want to help our manufacturing partners by getting them more dealers that work like us and think like us. That way they look at Dayton Barns and they say, man, not only is Dayton Barns selling us buildings, but they're bringing us more folks to the table who will sell buildings. Then you can negotiate even better pay rates and things like that. So the Steel Kings podcast has been great for that, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you do such a good job with it. And what I like about it is we talked about it off air, is we do a lot of similarities. Is you just get on and talk stuff.
That's right.
Talk industry, and go off on tangents sometimes. But see, that's what makes it personal, and that's what makes it real. And I love what you said a minute ago about all your sales team there. And I know that's not always a popular statement, what I'm going to make with certain suppliers. They feel like it's all their business, and it's the name, it's the brand name of the business that sells the building. That's a part of it. It's important. It has to be quality. It has to be all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like you said, they buy a building from Gracie, right?
Yep.
That's where they buy
exactly
from.
Right. That's exactly right.
And it's her
when
personality.
When you break it down to when its smallest molecule, it's that initial contact with the sales rep on the other end of the phone or the chat window or whatever their communication device is. To me, the manufacturers in the tube steel space do a better job of allowing the dealers to kind of take a face. It's the portable buildings that you struggle with a little bit more, because with the portable buildings, you know, in the communities that we service and help out, they take a lot of pride in what they do. And I value that immensely. But again, the person who's going to eat the review, good or bad, 95% of the time is going to be the person that sells the product, not necessarily the person who manufactures, delivers, all of that stuff. They're going to say, well, I bought a building from Dayton Barns or Five Rivers Pole Barns and something's wrong with it. And I think what I really like about Five Rivers is owning that process from start to finish. I can get involved at any step in that process and make something go one way or the other. My actions will dictate the success of that project in every single step of that pipeline. And to me, that's what I really value about Five Rivers. Dayton Barns is tough, because I'll tell you, I mean, I'm looking at it now. I've got 3 or 4 papers on my desks of that customer's mad because of one reason or another. That customer's building hasn't been installed because it's been 12 weeks and we haven't heard anything. I mean, that's a laundry list, right? I'm not responsible for the back end of that process. But the reason why Dayton Barns continues to be successful, in my opinion, is that I have all of that stuff right in front of me in real time. And I have a team member that brings it to me in real time. As soon as there's a customer that has even the slightest hiccup, we're on it. We have that continuity with our manufacturers. I have probably 6 manufacturers that are go-to. I have another 12 that I can rely on, and I probably have another 8 to 10 that are an emergency. And that having that bandwidth, having that network of people around you, is what most people in this industry, meaning tubular steel carport style buildings, though that's what most people are not doing. They're riding with one manufacturer, and the second that relationship is soured or there's a problem, you're upside down. And I cannot tell you enough. have your go-tos, have your 5 or 6 top tier every time. I send my orders there every time. Have your backups in case there's a shortage, in case there's a supply issue or an install issue, and then have your emergencies. Have the small guys, the small mom and pops in every single nook and cranny of the United States that can bail you out if there's a problem. And I love that philosophy. Things are so much easier than they used to be 3-4 years ago because we've built those relationships up.
Hmm.
But we're also extremely transparent. We're not loyal. I don't want to say we're not loyal. We are loyal to those who are loyal to us, but we're also not loyal to a fault. And I think a lot of people in the tube steel carport industry get loyal to a fault. And that's why there's so much interaction, I guess, in that industry. So many changes. Seems like every year there's a major shakeup with someone. And we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to fly under the radar, sell as many buildings as we can, and be really straightforward with customers. And I think the feedback speaks to that.
Yes. Well, and you hit on something that was really interesting. I made a note. Problems happen, right? You can't. Issues happen more than we'd like. It's construction. It's weather related, labor related, materials related, tariffs related. There's all things that come into play. The key is problems or issues are normally pretty easily handled, and customers generally, there's always that one. We all have had that one. But generally speaking, if you just jump on it as quick as possible with the transparency and an honesty, you know, I mean, I remember a call, Jared, one time. I made a call to a guy, and I'd had a reasonable enough relationship. I said, guess what? I said, we threw a dart at the board, and we decided who is the one customer we can screw up the worst possible, and that's you. The good news is look at all the other people that have no issues because we're giving them all to you. But the good news is we take your name off the board, so we'll never do it again. And we laugh, and we joke, okay, I got it. What's going on? You know, so but the point is you address it. And I've been dealing with a couple of these literally today where if there's a problem, I can handle almost always with a customer a problem because I'm very transparent. I just will tell you what it is, what I know, what I can, what I can't. But what I can't do, right? And I think what you were saying so well is continue with, I don't know. I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know?
I think people in staying in the carport metal building space, right? The tubular steel metal building space. I think there is so much of that immediate need to grab money and calling out no one. Everybody is out to make money in what they do. They ply their trade. They expect a compensation for that. I get that. But for me, if I take a customer's down payment, we took a $5,700 down payment this morning. To me, I'm indebted to that customer until they have the product that I promised to provide. And in the meantime, I need to be in resolute resolution mode. I say that a lot here in the office. To me, I don't refund, I resolve. I'll tell customers that all day long. Look, up front, we say, look, there's a 3-day window for this. You got 3 days to change your mind past that. We're in resolve mode, not refund mode. If there's a problem, we're going to work to resolve it rather than work to refund it. And customers understand that. If you're transparent at the onset of the deal, very rarely are you going to have any murkiness later on in the deal.
Right.
If you're transparent through the whole process, the customer knows exactly what to expect. It is black and white, and it is right there. It's that way every time. It's our policy. And you can't have customers. I think this might be one thing to take away if you're listening to this. Don't change your policy to fit the needs of one. You have a policy for a reason, and you need to stand resolutely on that policy. And yes, there's exceptions to be made for any policy that's out there. But if you stand firm on your policies, you never have to bend when you don't want to. And I think that that's what so many people in this industry just tend to do. It's easier just to refund, or it's easier just to make an excuse. It's easier not to answer the phone. I mean, I can tell you, I'll hit it right on the head. If I got a customer that's upset, I will literally just hit it on the head. The quicker that you can try to resolute resolve, is the better off for everybody, period.
Right.
Better off for you, better off for your team, better off for the customer, better off for your manufacturing partner, better off for everybody in the process. And you can control that. You control that by your actions. Your actions speak to that. And really, that defines your character, to be honest with you. I mean, that really defines who you are in character too. So,
well, it does. And you, develop a culture within your organization. That's the way they look at everything. So if everybody's pulling the wagon in the same direction, right, it doesn't become abnormal to resolve. It becomes standard normal procedure. And another thing you hit on that I really like is you didn't say the exact words, but up front, as quick as possible, as sales folks, we need to manage customer expectations, right?
That's exactly right.
And I give you a quick example of something. We put solar on our house in Florida last year, and love everything about it, except for the experience was not good because there was things that we were told that we found out later that weren't necessarily accurate. But the worst that bothered me as somebody that considers myself a sales pro, been doing this for a long, long time, if I, as a customer, say, hey, Jared, so what I understand is this is what will happen, and that's not true, you have to correct me. You can't let me go on considering that because if I say it and you don't correct me, I'm assuming that's true, right? And it's so easy to do and that's what happened in this scenario. Is you could have just said, Randy, whoa, back up. Maybe I misled some words. Maybe I didn't explain it. I would always take it on myself. It's because my responsibility. Somewhere I missed something. So let's back up. That's not exactly what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen, because it's not going to happen. It's just you're going to get in trouble later. And I'm going to be, now I'm mad and irritated. And so I think back to like you taught, manage that expectations up front. I want the barn by next week, Thursday. Well, that's not going to happen. Hey friends, it's Randy here, the owner of Source One Marketing, ibuyfromrandy.com. And I got to tell you, we are proud to sponsor the Building Wins Live podcast and vlogcast. We have 4+ decades in this beautiful industry of supplying materials, supplying services, supplying marketing assistance, and we just are proud to sponsor Building Wins Live and some great guests that we have every single week, many of them from our beloved industry and many of them from outside the industry that still bring some incredible content. So make sure to check us out at ibuyfromrandy.com and let us know what you think about this show. For now, thanks for checking this out. Let's get back to the show.
Yep.
Right. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So
over promising and under delivering is that should be the motto for the carport industry in general right now. It's like everybody over promises and under delivers. And then behind the scenes, we have these manufacturers and I'll get on a tirade. Stop me if I go too far. But to me, where my struggle is currently in the carport and metal building industry specifically is we'll get a documentation from manufacturer A, doesn't matter who they are, and it'll say our current lead time in this area is 6 to 12 weeks. Well, number one, 6 to 12 weeks is a really wide window. I mean, that's a really egregious, so now I have to tell customers 12 weeks or less to really be truthful. And then we'll get emails or we'll get messages from that same company that says, well, we're really looking at 12 weeks or less from the time the site picture is received. Now we're different. And they start adding all these asterisks. And then what we start to see is, you can paint it by the numbers. We see it all the time. We'll start having a manufacturer that is clearly having a install problem, whether it be they don't have the install crews, they're out of material, whatever that case is. And we'll start getting calls from customers. So-and-so from manufacturer came by. We had it scheduled. Everything was fine. But then they said something was wrong with our location. The concrete pad's out of square, ground's not level, whatever the case is, to buy more time. And at the same time, I work with the manufacturers that give me that information up front. There's a manufacturer that I work with that actually just gave me all of their current installs, and they have them set up in red, yellow, green as priority bubbles. And now I can place my orders where they have green orders ready to go, and I can literally determine when that building is going to be installed. That's the level of due diligence that we've done at Dayton Barnes to work with the right manufacturers and say, you know what, if I tell you 4 weeks or less, if it's not 4 weeks or less, I'm going to call you and tell you why it's not 4 weeks or less. And there's going to be a series of things that we have to do to go after that, whether it be your permit didn't come through, your concrete pad's not done. That expectation needs to be set. There's just there is a lack of information coming from the people that are actually manufacturing and making the goods that are sold. And there is a lack of understanding, training, discipline on the side of the people who are selling. And when you empower someone to sell a $30,000 carport building that's going to be on someone's property for the next umpteen years, and their only job is to collect a rather large commission up front, 10, 12, 15, 20%. So if you sell a $30,000 building, there's some folks out there who can make $6K and go into the night. That's a problem. And we talked about this a little bit at the roll forming show, like, having some sort of industry-wide standard or having some trade association related to carport buildings, metal buildings. I'd be all about that. I love the industry. There are so many people that eat off that industry. So many people that are small business owners, that are small independent contractors, live and die by what they can do with metal building, tube steel, and carports, and what they're doing with the engineering on these things. It's going to save people money. It's going to be a reliable building long term. And if you understand how to do it the right way, you're not going to have many problems. The problem is there's not a lot of people doing it the right way, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think doing the things that you do, being at shows, doing your podcast, being on podcasts like this, the more you get that message out, there's an old saying that, and I don't know, I guess I'm getting old because I like old sayings all of a sudden, but high tides raise all ships, right?
Yeah,
and
I say that all the time.
And I think it's incredibly accurate. And the other thing I like to talk about, because being involved myself personally in some trade associations, on some boards of some, I get actively involved with this. And we've talked about this. Let's just continue to make the pie bigger. Yep. Because if we make the pie bigger, even if we get more people coming in, more competitors, even if our percentage remains the same, we're always looking to grow our percentage of market share, right? But right. I guess if my market share is 5% of $1 million, I would rather be 5% of $2 million, right? And the only way we do that is to grow that business, the pie together. And the only way do that is to do it, like you said, to do it the right way. Everybody has to do it the right way. It's like in the carport or metal roofing or post frame buildings. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I've always said, if you're not going to buy my product, buy a quality product that people take care of you, because need, for fasteners, for example, is a big product I sell. If you don't buy my fastener, that's fine. But I don't need my competitor. I don't want my competitor's fastener to fail.
Yep.
I need them to have a great experience, because nobody's going to remember that it was Billy Bob's fastener that failed. It was a fastened through system on a metal roof that failed. I'm never going to do metal roof, right? And that's exactly a bad thing. Right. Am I close?
That hurts everybody, right? I mean, that is literally a prime example. So what ends up happening, and I'm big on zoning, I'm big on engineering, I'm big on all the things that are required to build a building properly and make it not just a storage building that somebody has in their backyard. They bought a bunch of, random parts and pieces and they're piecing it together. I want fully engineered 80 wide by 150 long tubular steel metal buildings to be an option for people. They're quick to install. They're relatively inexpensive if done the right way. The problem that I have is you have people out here that are advertising said 80 by 150, for example, and they're selling it for astronomically lower than what that building can be installed for. And customer comes to you and says, well, they're 50% cheaper. Well, you're getting 50% less material. Well, I don't care about that. I don't care about, customer doesn't care about that. They care about price. They're price driven constantly. And we have to do a better job of saying, you know what? The industry as a whole is suffering because we're bringing the basement down below the foundation, down below the sub basement. I mean, we're into like the earth at this point.
Right.
We are so low on valuing the product. We have turned tubular steel carport buildings into a bad word. And quite frankly, that hurts our potential to get these things zoned. They need to have their own zoning codes. They're lightweight. They're lightweight ag buildings, basically, but they're treated like residential buildings because they want them built a certain way. And I can tell you, more often than not, if you happen to be a customer listening to this, you need to make sure you own that process up front with whoever you buy from, whether it's me or anybody else. Because if you're getting a building zoned right now on a tubular steel carport building that's over 600 square feet, you better have your ducks in a row. We deal with that stuff all day, every day. I've got a guy in this office that specifically specializes in residential permitting. We do permitting all the time to help customers out. I can tell you, you will get shot down at the permitting office. And the other thing that we run into is attorney general's offices get contacted when people start to take money and don't provide products and services. And that hits the whole industry.
Right.
The second that a carport dealer becomes the target of a attorney general investigation because they've accepted funds for buildings they've not seen through. Now all of a sudden it's everybody in the carport industry has a bad name. Oh man, well, everybody that sells carport buildings must be shady.
Right.
And I mean, you know this, Randy. I mean,
Yes.
you're around us all the time. And I think that's what amazes people about Dayton Barnes is, you know, everybody assumes that every carport seller is just trash. That's just, I mean, that's an assumption that people make. When people get under the surface with Dayton Barnes, they're like, oh, okay, that process is good. Okay, they've got an on-staff guy who handles the permitting. They've got an order placer. They've got processes and procedures in place to keep customers safe. That's my one. I mean, if you take one thing away, take this away. Customers need to be protected when they're making a purchase that's this expensive.
Right.
Your job as a salesperson isn't just to sell the building. It's to protect your customer and make sure that their investment is safe with you. I cannot stress that enough. I mean, I hit that talking point with training on these reps. I do not want customers shafted. Not in my name. You know, I carry that super serious into my heart. I am dead serious about that. I want customers taken care of at every single level. They're not always right. There's a difference. Okay. It's your job to take care of them. And that way they'll always feel like they're right. But they don't have to always be right. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, and what you just said about feeling safe, Wes and I have got a blessed to have a really great friend, Ben Gay III, author of the Closure series. You may know him. He's a great friend of ours, and he adds to that. We've known for years the people buy from who they know, like, and trust, but he adds people buy from who they know, like, trust, and feel safe with. And as soon as you said that, I made a note because he is so accurate. And you're so accurate. All this other stuff I like you and I trust you and you're a nice guy, but what happens when something does go wrong? Do I feel comfortable that Jared or Gracie or whoever here in the office is going to take care of me? And that is huge because inevitably, yes, those are a lot of jobs. Probably 90% of jobs go pretty smoothly, right?
Yeah.
And they just move on. But what if you're the guy that the dart got thrown at the wall and it's your lucky day, right? If that happens, I just want to know.
And not every customer is happy at the end of the process. You have to understand that too. Your job isn't always to make them happy. If you've given them what they've paid for and you feel like you have owned the process from start to finish, that's how I sleep at night when I have a customer that I cannot make happy. Look, I've explained to you, sir, 4 foot on center in this building. I've explained to you how the hat channels work. I've explained to you the spacing, the vertical steel. I literally mapped it out for you in a line-by-line document that you signed. And what's sitting on your property is exactly what we sold. And I can't tell you how many times the customers called me back and said, well, these uppers on this building, these legs, I mean, I was expecting it to be 16 on center. There's no way this is going to withhold the wind. And I'm thinking, we talked about this. We've talked about this, Mr. Customer. And at the end of the day, if you wanted a 16 on center stud frame built garage, you're talking probably triple the cost. You're talking a much bigger investment. There's a lot more that goes into that. And we talked about these things. At the end of the day, you bought a tubular steel carport building. And not everybody's in the market for a tubular steel carport building. Hence the move on to 5 Rivers. Right. We have to graduate ourselves. Most people get stuck in this muck and the mire where they're like, oh, I'm always going to sell portable buildings. They're easy. They're low ticket, low risk. But you're never going to get anywhere if you don't risk a little bit. We've risked a lot at Dayton Barnes. We've risked ourselves financially. We've risked ourselves from a credibility standpoint a lot of times. But more often than not, if you're willing to take the risk and you back up what you say, if you put your money where your mouth is, you'll walk away on the other side much happier and much more satisfied with what you do every day. I can tell you at this point, from where I was 5 years ago, my background's in operations management. I was a shop foreman at a Honda dealership for years, ran a crew of about 10 guys or so, and we just made money. I made money for them. I made money for myself. And when I got here to Dayton Barnes and I was working with contractors and people were kind of just doing whatever they wanted, I wasn't willing to come on board and be owner of something or be a partner of something that I didn't have some control over. And to me, that's the next level that you take as a business owner, is you bring in employees who share the same culture, the same drive, the same purpose every day. You know, if you have a business and you don't have a mission statement, write a mission statement for yourself and make sure that every employee knows it inside and out, up one side and down the other. Our mission here is to sell quality buildings all the time, period. Sell quality buildings all the time. If you understand that mantra, you'll understand working at Dayton Barnes. And we follow the same procedures at Five Rivers. The Steel Kings podcast has just become something that where I can do this all the time. So if you guys check us out, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. Check out Shed Geek. I got to give another shout out to him. But I can tell you, we're on every Monday. We have good content. Some of it's relevant. Some of it's probably not relevant to what you do, but it's fun. I can tell you, it's fun content. And we will get you on, Randy, and Wes, for that matter.
That's a great way to. I'm ready. I mean, we could do it right now. I got 10 minutes. I got lots to say. No, that's great.
I know you've got a 3-pack. You got a big turkey on your hands, and
I got a big turkey. Yeah, no, that's okay. Well, I could talk to you. You know, so you've passed the test, and Wes didn't tell you that at the start, and he was remiss. So bad, Wes. But there's only 2 ways you get back on Building Wins Live. Okay. The first way is that you just suck so badly that we've really got to give you an opportunity to redeem yourself,
we
right?
Reshoot for B-roll.
Yeah, this is just. But so you went way past that. The other way you get back on is to be sold incredibly good and left us with wanting more and needing more. And you've hit that one in spades, as they say. I don't even know what that means, but you did.
Well, I appreciate it. I can tell you, it's an honor to be on here as somebody that's been watching and following you for some time. We have a lot to learn from you, Randy, honestly, and Wes too. The Steel Kings is just getting started. We don't know where this thing's going to be a year from now or 2 years from now. We want to create fun, engaging content for our listeners. That's all we really want to do on that. If you got any feedback for me, I take it. Give it to me heads up. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'll take it.
Good.
So,
well, what I've watched of it is great. I love it, and I told Wes the other day. I said, we want to be on Steel Kings.
Yeah.
It's a good podcast. I enjoy being on with good people, and every time you do any of those sort of things, you get just a tad bit better too, right? At whatever you do.
That's right.
And I love guesting. I probably love guesting more than I love hosting, and I like to host. Yeah. But there's one difference is you don't have the responsibility as a guest of anything. You ask me something, I'll tell you what I think. If you want me to shut up, you'll nod and tell me to quit quiet, or you'll send me a little thing on the side that says, "Randy, will you stop?" Right? But so it's pretty kind of easy, right? But you just get better, So but I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate what you guys are doing, and you told us so well. We'll be on with you. And hey, folks, watch for these guys. Check out Dayton Barnes and all the subsidiary companies. Steel King podcast, catch it. One last thing. I almost forgot. Wes didn't pop it up there. I'd forget probably, but should ask question. What have we not touched on today when your life and this could be in just general life. I don't care, but maybe associated with the business. Do you just go, people know what Jared does, but they never ask this question. They just never ask. What's the question?
I always close the podcast out with, go out in your community and do something for somebody else. It will make you feel better. And I've had not a lot of people reach out to me and say, other than, man, that really hit me. But why do you say that? Mm-hmm. And I say it because I love the community I live in. I live in Brookville, Ohio. I'm on the park board. I'm on the director of the Chamber of Commerce board of directors. I'm actually going to be a city council member in November. I love giving back to my community. And I would encourage you that if you're looking for an outlet in your life, you're a small business owner or you're a construction worker, there is such a need right now in local communities for people with common sense and values to step up and be part of their community. And I cannot echo that enough. I'd shout it from every rooftop. I want to get to a point in my life where I can feel satisfied enough in what I'm making financially to give back to others. And I want to do that through community action. I'm a big believer in community action. I love that. And I would encourage anybody to get involved in their local community as much as they possibly can. It benefits so many people. If you love where you live, be a part of it.
Good. We could not have ended better. Well done. Yep. Love it. Thank you for being on. Appreciate you. We'll chat soon.
Absolutely, brother.
All right,
Sounds
buddy.
good, man.
Let's go.
Talk to you soon.
Go get him. All right, buddy.
Bye. Bye-bye.
There you go. Jared Ledford, man, was that good stuff? We're going to do him 2 or 3 more times, I think. Really good stuff. Watch Steel Kings. It's really, really good. Check Steel Kings out and watch for Western Iowa one of these days. We'll get on there and I don't know if we'll make it better, but we'll be on there. Anyways, I look forward to that. Remember, love what you do and do what you love. I say it all the time. We only go one round once in life, so live it, love it, own it. And let me think, what else is there? Oh yeah, that's it. Make today your best day ever. Till tomorrow. I never forget that. Go make it huge. Let's go.